Hi traders, in this video I'm going to run through the free Forex robot that I've developed for the MetaTrader 4 platform. You can download the robot using the link in the description below and by visiting my website, where you'll also find numerous other free expert advisors that I've developed for the MetaTrader 4 platform, so help yourself. In this video I'm going to run through the features and the settings and the various different ways which you can use this EA as part of your trading strategy if you want to, whether that's semi-automated to send you alerts, or if you want it to operate fully automated where it can actually place and manage trades on your behalf. Okay, so here we have the MT4 platform. This is the strategy tester window. You can see where I've loaded the expert advisor here. Okay, that's my free Forex robot. The symbol we're going to test on will be the euro dollar, and we're going to test on the 1 hour chart time frame. Okay, you can use any chart time frame that you wish. I just prefer the 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily charts simply because they contain more price data, and therefore I find signals tend to be more reliable. For the testing model, we can use open prices only to begin with. That's just because it's faster, and if we're going to test various different settings, we want to run the tests as quickly as possible. That being said, once you do find some good settings that you might want to verify further, you can switch to the every tick mode, which will also test intra-bar prices, which can be important when it comes to things like the stop loss, take profit, trailing stop, breaking even, spread, etc. Okay, for the day, we will use the past month to begin with. So just set that for you, and we'll run in visual mode just so I can show you how the EA trades. Right, bear with me. These are going to be the expert properties or the settings. These are all fully customizable. You can change as you wish. You will see that there are quite a lot of different settings here. However, I'm going to break them all down for you, and I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. The purpose of this robot was to combine more or less every indicator that is built within the MT4 trading platform, okay, along with candlestick patterns and money management and other features into one expert advisor that can either send you signal alerts or trade for you. Okay, and I've made it so that it's fully customizable depending on your needs. Okay, so for example, if I just quickly we'll reset the settings first. If I just show you a quick example, we have the moving average here. If you set that to true, okay, and change the SMA, simple moving average setting, to 50, okay, and had pop-up alert set to true, you get a pop-up alert on your platform telling you when the moving average crosses above or below the 50, price crosses above or below the 50 moving average. Okay, and you can take it a step further. Maybe you want price to be above or below the moving average, so you'll leave that set to true. And then you also want the, let's have a look, you want the CCI to be extreme. Okay, so then you can just set the CCI extreme to true. And that means you'll get a sell signal if the price is below the moving average of 50 and the CCI is extremely overbought. Okay, and if the price is above the moving average and the CCI is extremely oversold, you'd get a buy signal. Okay, and you can more or less configure every indicator in the MT4 platform from the EA settings, and also change the periods and other values. Okay, so I'm going to run through each setting now step by step. Pop-up alerts, this is basically when there is a signal, depending on your settings, that you'll get a pop-up alert on your MT4 platform. Okay, this can include a sound notification if you've got sounds enabled, and this is handy if, let's say, you want to track 10 charts, 20 charts, 50 charts. You can run the EA on all your charts and then have pop-up alert set to true, and then you get a pop-up and it will tell you which chart is giving which signal. So for example, you get a pop-up alert and it will say the euro dollar chart is euro dollar 1 hour chart is showing a sell signal, and then you can just switch to that chart and act from there. Okay, Email alerts and SMS alerts work in the same way, but this is handy if you're away from your platform and perhaps you're just waiting for a specific scenario to occur, and then you'll visit your platform. When that does happen, you can just set these to true and receive email and SMS alerts. Use trading. Okay, this will basically enable the EA to actually place a trade when there is a signal, depending on your settings. Okay, so you can also set both. So you can have use trading set to true, which means the EA will place a trade, and also pop up alerts set to true. So you can, if you're next to your computer, you can have an alert that there's been a trade placed. Or say you're out and about, you won't be around to place a trade. Then the EA can place a trade and send you an email alert, which can pop up on your phone, and then you can go into your platform and adjust the trade if necessary. Okay. Days filter is self-explanatory. That's basically the days of the week that the EA will trade. Same with the hours filter. You can set the hour you'd like it to start trading and end trading, or you can just leave it on the default, which is 24 hours a day. Close out time. If this is set to true, this will basically close all open orders on this hour and this minute. Okay, so let's just say you wanted to close all orders at 10 o'clock. You can do that. Just set it to 22 or 10:15, for example. Okay, I'll just close all orders if you don't want to trade overnight, for example, or for any other reason. Okay, close Friday. Again, this will close all orders. This time it will close orders on the Friday. And you can choose the hour, minute you'd like to close your orders. And this is good if you don't want to perhaps leave trades open over the weekend and perhaps get caught in a weekend gap, which can happen. Okay, if sometimes you see wild price swings, 50 pips, less or more over the weekend, can not always advantageous. Magic number, this is basically the order ID. So this is good if you want to run multiple expert advisors on the same account. You can just differentiate them by setting unique magic numbers for the buy and sell trades. Okay, broker settings. So you've got the maximum spread and maximum slippage. This means that if the price is above the values set within these fields, then the EA will not send you alerts or place trades. It's just to avoid trading in unfavorable market conditions. This is values in pips and is set to 5 by default. Okay, money management, open orders limit. This is the maximum number of orders that the EA can have open on at any one time, referencing the magic numbers. Okay, so if you did have the EA on 2 different charts and they had different magic numbers on each chart, then it may allow more orders. But open orders limit is set to 1 by default, which means the EA can have a maximum of 1 open buy or 1 open sell trade or 1 open sell trade at any time. Okay, so you could, in theory, have 1 buy and 1 sell open at the same time if your broker allows hedging. Lots, that's the position size that you'd like the EA to trade. Okay. Lots applies if the use risk is set to false. If you set use risk to true, the EA will ignore this lots field and instead it will automatically calculate the position size based on the risk percent that you set here. So if you have use risk set to true and the risk percent too, the EA will calculate the lot size so that the position is 2% of the account balance in the case of a full stop loss. Stop loss on take profit, self-explanatory. And hedging allowed is basically if your broker allows you to trade in both directions at the same time, you can just set that to true. Okay. The equity check, basically, if this is set to true, you can set the EA to terminate if the balance goes below this minimum equity. So say, if your account falls below 5,000, the EA will terminate. Okay, and the maximum equity is just the same. It's just if your account goes above this value, then the EA will also terminate. Okay, break even and trailing stop. So the use break even, you can set the EA to move the stop loss to break even once this break even point, which is in pips, is reached. Okay, so this would mean 100 pips profit, move the stop loss to break even. And the trailing stop will also move the stop loss as the price continues moving in your direction. Okay. And the trailing gap is the distance by how far you'd like to trail the stop loss behind the price. Close percent is if you'd like to close a percentage of the trade once the break even and trailing gap points are reached. So say, for example, you want to close 25%. And bear in mind that it will close 25% every time the trailing gap distance is reached, then on moving forward. So it can close 25%, 50 pips later, close another 25%, so on and so forth. Minimum lot close is basically when the EA will stop closing part of the position. So you might want to close 25%, close another 25%, but then stop closing when there's 0.5 lots left. You might just want to let them 0.5 lots run. If the minimum lot close is greater than the value you have set in the lots field, let's just say you're trading one standard lot. If you set the minimum lot close to something greater than that, like 2, the EA just won't close any part of the position, okay, because the lot size is already lower than the minimum lot to close. Okay, so that's the basic money management and various other settings that you can configure in the EA. In terms of days, hours, do you want trading signals? Do you want the EA to actually trade? Okay, your stop loss, break even, trailing stop, etc. Now we're going to get into the indicators. Okay, so we're going to go through the settings now then for the indicators. Okay, so we have them in sections. Here is the trend section. Okay, so these are the trend indicators in the MT4 platform. So we have a moving average. Okay, you can set that to true or false. Basically what this will do is it will only allow buy trades if price is above the moving average, and will only allow sell trades or sell signals if the price is below the moving average. And the simple moving average period you can set here in this field. Okay, envelopes. This is basically using the envelopes indicator. So an envelope's reversal basically means there will be sell trades if price goes above the upper band, or buy trades if sell goes below the lower band. Let me just point out there is an instruction manual included with this Expert Advisor that covers all of these settings and what they do in more detail as well. Okay, so for envelopes breakout, that will do the opposite. So if price breaks out above the envelopes upper band, it will be a buy trade. If price breaks out below the envelopes lower band, that will be a sell trade. Okay, I can just show you actually on the chart. Let me just add so I can add the moving average. Okay, for the moving average set, and if price is below, sell, price is above, buy. Okay, and then we can add the envelopes as well. Okay, so I'll remove the moving average. With the envelopes, okay, so the reversal strategy means if price is above the envelope, sell. If price is below the envelope, buy. It does have to close above or below the envelope, okay? And for the envelopes breakout, if price breaks out above, buy. If price breaks out below, sell. Okay, how would I use this? Well, I would use this, I would first wait for a trend. Okay, so I can see a trend here. When I see that the market is trending, making lower highs, for example, I may set the indicator to either trade on a breakout. I would set it first to trade sell trades only. Okay, so like a breakout below the lower band, or to even sell on a pullback, which could be a price close. For example, here, if we just zoom out, you can see we're in a downtrend. Price closes above the upper band. I might want to do a reversal trade to sell to just enter on the trend that way, or just set the EA to send an alert when that happens, because then we can just draw our support level, nice M pattern formation, and trade on the breakout into this downtrend there. Nice wedge pattern forming as well. Okay, so that's the moving average and the envelopes. As I said, you can combine them as well. What's next? Parabolic SAR. Oh yeah, you can do the envelopes period and envelopes deviation, the settings for these. So basically you can I don't know, if you wanted to use wider deviations, or no, let's say even tighter deviations for longer periods, something like that. Okay, you can change those from the envelopes settings. Okay, Parabolic SAR, so this will basically give buy signals when price is above the parabolic SAR, or sell signals when price is below. So let's use the same chart. Oh, it's quite a downtrend there. Okay, so if I get the Parabolic SAR on the chart and show you how the EA uses this. Excuse me. Let me just make that clearer. I have to zoom in. Well, make it even clearer. Okay. So basically with the Parabolic SAR setting, the sell signals if price is below the SAR, or buy signals if price is above. So how to use this? Again, we can use the same principle. You can see the market here is making lower highs. We have a nice breakout. In fact, that goes support level goes all the way back there. Market's making these lower highs here. Okay, this support line is breached here. We have a nice pullback and we're in a downtrend from here. That would have been a nice breakout trade there. Okay. So what we could do is, once we know that we're in this downwards trend, you could set the EA so that you'd get a signal when the parabolic SAR goes in the opposite direction. And the reason being is that will suggest a pullback. Okay, so if you had an alert in a downtrend for a buy signal on the parabolic SAR, you know that there's been a pullback, but we're not trading against the trend. We're only going to take sell trades because we're in this downtrend here. And then you could just mark your support level, trade the breakout. There's a nice M pattern formation there as well, and a breakout to the downside. So the EA can just alert you to these things happening. Or if you want to be more aggressive, you can just set it to take sell trades when the parabolic SAR crosses, which when the parabolic SAR goes back above the price, and then you could sell into the downtrend. So that would be a sell there and a sell here. Parabolic SAR goes back above, sell here, sell there, so on and so forth. Okay, and you can also change the periods of the parabolic SAR, or the step and the maximum. So we just play around with those. Okay, it's just depending on how aggressive or non-aggressive you like to trade. Okay. And you can obviously optimize the EA as well in the MT4 strategy tester if you want to test various combinations of settings to see which work best according to your preferred trading style. So we can go to, what were we on? So we've done the SAR. Let's do the bands breakout. Okay, so the bands breakout based on the Bollinger Bands. So if I just remove the SAR from the chart, now we'll add the Bollinger Bands. So the bands breakout basically means the EA will, just remove this so it's not in your way, the EA will sell if price breaks out below the bands, or it will buy if price breaks out above the bands. Again, you can set the EA to trade for you or to send you signals. So for example, in this downtrend here, you might want a signal when prices breach the bands, whether that's to enter on the breakout, or if there's a pullback as well, you can have an alert to draw the support, as we said there. Okay, you can change the bands periods and deviations again from the EA settings. Okay. The ADX, so you've got the ADX trend and the ADX level and the period, and the ADX minimum and the ADX maximum. I'll show you now what they do. So we can just remove the bands from the chart, and now we will add the ADX. So with the ADX settings, the trend setting is when there's a crossover of the, let me zoom in here. So the ADX trend is if the red crosses the green above, you'll get a sell signal. If the green crosses the red above, you get a buy signal, okay? And the ADX level filter is basically for this. You see this line here? This is basically the momentum of the ADX. I do have videos that explain the ADX indicator, how to use it in various strategies, as well as videos on all the other indicators as well. But this line is basically the momentum of the move. So when the red is above the green and this is increasing, it means that there's increased momentum for the downtrend, just as when we go back, just as when the green is above the red and this increases in value, there's a momentum in an uptrend. Okay, so you can set the ADX trend, which is basically the positioning of the lines, and the ADX level if you wished. The reason I included the level in the EA is just because some traders will, say if the ADX is above this level, which is 20, then it shows that there's a strong trend. If it's below, then the market is ranging. As you can see here, the market is ranging and the ADX is below the 20 level. But you can add whichever level you want, and let's just say 50. If we add the 50 level, some traders might avoid trading if it's above 50 because the move might be exhausted, and they might just wait for the ADX to have a pullback, something lower, and then look to enter on that pullback. Okay, so if we just have a look at that in our scenario we were in over here in this downtrend. Okay, we can see that the ADX crossed over here somewhere, which would have tied in nicely with that breakout trade, and then as the momentum increased, so did the downwards trend. And then when this fell back below the minimum level of 20, okay, would have been a good time perhaps to draw support and wait for a breakout trade on that pullback. So you can configure the ADX that way. And again, just going back to the ADX, you can have an alert when it crosses in the opposite direction. Like when we know we're in a downtrend, we can wait for a cross to the upside in the ADX to signal a pullback, and then look to re-enter when there's a cross back in the direction where I'm looking to trade, short in this instance. Okay, so there's many different ways you can configure the various indicators and settings. So that's the ADX covered. There's your minimum level and your maximum level. Okay, so you've got the Ichimoku cloud as well, all the various elements of that. I'm not going to run through them all individually. If you know the Ichimoku cloud indicator, you should know how powerful it can be, especially when it comes to spotting trends. I will just pop it on the chart here. Default settings. Okay, probably not the clearest on a white background. However, the general consensus is when the price is below the cloud here, we're in a downtrend, and when these lines are aligned correctly, okay, it can be a good time to, well, just to make it clear which direction the market is moving. Just as if we go back, it's probably not the best colors to be using. There you go, there's an Ichimoku on there. If I just remove the bears and remove this and remove the grid. So the Ichimoku on there, this is just some tests I was running earlier. You can see selling based on the Ichimoku indicator in this downtrend. The EA was able to catch some good moves. Okay. I do have a video on the Ichimoku indicator, as well as articles you can find on my website, which will explain how to use the indicator in more details. Standard deviation. Okay, so you've got the minimum and the maximum standard deviation you can set here, and basically with the standard deviation, the EA will only take a trade if price is above the minimum or below the maximum of the standard deviation. So I'll show you that now. Let me just get rid of these indicators. Go back to our downtrend. So if we insert the standard deviation indicator, okay, so what levels did we have in here? Standard deviation 25 and 50. We'll just put add 25 and add 50. Make them clear. Okay. Don't know why they didn't show up. Bam, 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 bam. 0.25, 0.05. Hold on a second. Just missing an extra digit. There we go. Okay, so it'll only trade if price is above or below, above the minimum or below the maximum standard deviation. This is basically to avoid trading if price has gone too far or exhausted. For example, after this bar here, you might not want to enter a sell trade. You don't want to sell at the low. Okay, so if the standard deviation is too high, the EA will avoid trading. Okay, but then on the other hand, you might want the standard deviation to be low. If you're planning to trade in ranger markets, you might want alerts, you know, when the standard deviation is low, as it is, say, around here, because you want to trade in a range like this. Okay, that's the standard deviation. You can leave the levels like with just on numbers like this, because the EA will automatically calculate the decimals for you. Okay, so onto the oscillators now. So we've got the CCI, probably an indicator you're familiar with. We've got extreme and not extreme values. So if I just plonk it on the chart and show you what each one does for those. So extreme basically means the CCI will have to be above 100 for a sell trade or below minus 100 for a buy trade, sell signal, buy signal. Not extreme means that it is just not extreme either way. Okay, so for a sell trade and not extreme, it just means that it doesn't have to be oversold. For a buy trade and not extreme, it means that it just doesn't have to be overbought. Okay. So how would you use that in this instance? Well, you might want to, if you were trading short only or selling only in this downtrend, you might want an alert when the CCI goes extremely overbought, just like here, for example, because then you know it's time to perhaps look for a sell trade into this downtrend. And again, here it's overbought. You might want to start looking for a sell trade after it's overbought. Here you can just draw your support level, okay, and wait for a breakout of that, and then that support after the breakout, that support then becomes resistance here, and it would have been a good time to perhaps enter in on this downwards move. Okay, so that's the CCI. Extreme or not extreme options. So the stochastic indicator here, we've got not extreme, extreme, and trend options. Okay, I'm going to run through each of those with you now. So if we just place the stochastic indicator on the chart. Okay, so with the stochastics, the trend basically means, if I just zoom in, buy if the green is above the red, okay, sell if the green is below the red, simple as that. Extreme means the stochastic has to be above 80 for a sell trade or below 20 for a buy trade in the extreme zones. And not extreme, similar to the CCI, it will give sell signals provided the price is not extremely oversold, and it will give buy signals provided the price is not, the stochastic oscillator is not extremely overbought. How could this be used? Well, again, in this downtrend, you might want to wait for a crossover in the opposite direction, say here, in an extremely oversold, and then you can start looking for a pullback and a breakout trade. Or you might just want to enter into the trend on a crossover in an extreme, so you can have it set to extreme and trend. And then here, when it crosses over in an extreme area, you could enter the sell trade, which may be a good time to enter into this downwards move. Okay. Same here, crossover in an extreme, potential entry point into this trend. Probably wouldn't, well, definitely wouldn't take the buy trades when we're in a downwards trend, but if we go back, say you're in this upwards trend here, you might just want to take the trades when there's a crossover in the extreme zones to enter into this upwards trend. Okay, so the EA can do that for you by sending signals and or placing trades. What's next? Next we have the RSI, not extreme and extreme. So this is going to work basically the same as we configured the CCI indicator. So we just place the RSI indicator on the chart. Default settings. Okay, RSI extreme, basically for a sell trade it has to be above 70, and for a buy trade it has to be below 30. Not extreme means sell signal if price is not extremely oversold, so if the RSI is not below 30, and a buy signal if it's not extremely overbought or the RSI is not above 70. Okay, how could that be used? Well, you could have it to alert you when there's an oversold condition in a downtrend, because then you might start looking for a pullback and to time your entry. You see here, you could have had an alert that it was oversold, waited for this pullback and trade on the breakout. An alert that it's oversold here, wait for a pullback trade on the breakout. Alert here, oversold, wait for a pullback trade on the breakout. Okay, probably more like that. It's a nice M pattern there as well, breakout. Support comes resistance, continuation. Okay. Extremely oversold, wait for the pullback, breakout, M pattern. Extremely oversold here, get your alert ping, wait for the pullback, draw your support, enter on the trend that way. So there's many ways in which it can be used. So that was the RSI, extreme and not extreme. MACD, so we've got the MACD zero line and the MACD trend. Okay, I'm just going to show you what this does now. So if we insert the MACD indicator onto the chart, default settings. So with the MACD zero line, basically the MACD must be above the zero line for a buy trade or buy signal, and must be below the zero line for a sell trade or a sell signal. Okay, and the MACD signal, what's it called in here? MACD trend. So for the MACD trend, the MACD histogram has to be above the red line for a buy signal or below the red line for a sell signal. So it doesn't necessarily have to be above or below the zero line, just above or below the signal line. Okay, so a good way to perhaps trade this is to get an alert when there is a pullback. When the MACD either crosses above the signal line, you might know that there's a pullback in the trend and want to start thinking about drawing your support to enter in on the trend. Or you might just wait for it to cross back over the zero line in the opposite direction and then look to enter a trade when it crosses back into the sell direction. Obviously vice versa for a buy. Okay. So that's the MACD. Again, you can configure all the various settings of the MACD, fast MACD, slow MACD, and the SMA. Okay. ATR level, so the average true range indicator, you've got the minimum and the maximum. We just put the ATR on the chart. What this basically means is if the ATR is above the maximum level, don't trade. If the ATR is below the minimum level, don't trade. As long as it's within the levels that you set, signals are allowed. This is just so that if there's the range is too low, you don't want to trade. Like here, maybe when the ATR is too low, you could avoid receiving signals, just as if it's too high and perhaps the market's too volatile, you don't want signals either. Okay, so you can configure the ATR that way, as well as the ATR period. So the momentum indicator, just add that to the chart. So this works kind of similar to the ATR. We just go to the settings quickly. So basically this is, let me just double check this setting for the momentum. So basically it's There's a buy signal if the momentum is below the oversold level, okay, or a sell signal if the momentum is above the overbought level. Okay, so you can set your levels in here, and it just basically means if the momentum goes above that level, it's a sell signal. If it goes below that level, it's a buy signal. Simple as that. So if we just add, what were the levels on there? Where is the momentum? 101 and 99. So let's just add 101 and add 99. I thought that's exactly what would happen. Okay, so I've managed to get the momentum levels displaying now correctly. Basically, with the momentum indicator, if the price is above the level, look for a sell. If price is below the level, look for a buy. Okay, so if we look at our downtrend again, you can see how this can be used if you wanted to look for a sell on a pullback. Okay, as soon as the momentum comes above the extreme level on the top, can have an alert and then look to again sell on a breakout to the downside. It can also be used if you want to, think about exiting a position once you see the momentum starts to slow down in the opposite direction, or to move in the opposite direction. Perhaps look to close part of your position. Okay, so that is the momentum indicator. We have next, we have the bulls and the bears. If I just pop that on the chart for you, we've got the bulls power and the bears power. Okay, so with the bulls power and the bears power, basically you buy if the bulls okay, so basically you will buy if they're in the it will send a buy signal if they're in the oversold area. Okay, let me just check on the settings. As you can see, not all these indicators I use so often. I'm more of a price action, support resistance, trend lines, breakouts, good money management kind of trader. However, I appreciate that some people like indicators just to try and make their life easier, although at times I do find they can be lagging, repainting, and overcomplicate things which our eyes can see just by looking at the chart. Okay, that being said, the bulls and the bears, so a simple buy signal when they're both below, or sell signal when they're both above. As I said, the instructions go into more details, but that's just the general consensus on those two indicators. So the demarker, we've got the demarker extreme and not extreme. I'm just going to quickly show you now what this indicator looks like and how the EA applies it. So demarker extreme and not extreme basically means sell if price is in the extreme zone. For the extreme, sell if price is in extremely overbought, buy if price is in extremely oversold. Okay, and not extreme basically means you can sell as long as the price is not extremely oversold, or you can buy as long as the price isn't extremely overbought. And it can be used in a similar way to the RSI, perhaps get an alert where there's an extreme condition in a trend, wait for a pullback, and then use that as gauging when to enter. Okay, you can also change the periods as well. So let's just say you put 7 periods. Why would you do that? Well, you might want to actually take sell trades, extreme sell trades in a downtrend when it's the demarker is extremely oversold. As you can see, you can enter there. These are all potential opportunities to get in on this downtrend. Okay, so that's the demarker indicator. Okay, so the force index, let's just add that to the chart. Force index, let's see that. So the force index, basically buy if the force index is below the oversold level, sell if the force index is above the overbought level. Okay, simple as that, more or less like the CCI or the RSI. Okay. You can configure the period as well. So we've got the Osma 0 line. Just add that, moving average of oscillator. Basically, sell signals. You get sell signals when it's below and buy signals when it is above the 0 line. Simple as that. I prefer the MACD, but each to their own. So you've got the RVI 0 line and the RVI trend line. So the relative vigor index, let's just pop that on the chart. So there's our RVI there. So did I say 0 line? RVI 0 line and RVI trend. Okay, so the trend is similar to the stochastics. When the green is above the red, buy signals. When the green is below the red, sell signals. And the 0 line, I'll just pop it on the chart for you there. Okay, and look for sells when it's below. Look for buys when it is above. Okay. And basically buy if this is above 0, sell if it's below 0. Okay, so you could, for example, have it to I don't know, like sell when there's a crossover like here below the 0 line, just because you want to enter into a downwards trend on a for example, here you see the crossover in the sold zone, potential entry point into this trend there. Personally, I wouldn't take these entries just as is. I prefer to do my own analysis by looking at the chart, drawing support levels, but it can be good to help gauge the direction and strength of the trend. As I said, I've made all these indicators fully customizable. You can set them on to true and false and change periods. Every trader is different with a different strategy, so you can just adjust it the way that suits you and decide whether you want just trading signal alerts or you want it to trade for you. Is completely flexible depending on your needs. So the Williams percent range, no extreme and extreme. We add that to the chart. Williams percent range, extreme and not extreme. Wow, hard on the eyes that one. Okay, let's go for this blue. Well, like you probably guessed with all the other indicators we've gone through, extreme means look for a sell trade when it's in this extremely overbought area here, or look for a buy trade when it's in the extremely oversold zone. Okay, and not extreme is basically you can sell or buy provided it's not in the extremely oversold or overbought areas. Okay, that's that. So the alligator, this is basically the Bill Williams indicator that many traders are probably familiar with. If we just pop it on there. Okay, so for the alligator, the options you can configure the jaws, the teeth, the lips, and everything else. And how the EA uses it is basically buy if the price is above the gator teeth and the gator lips are above the gator teeth and the gator teeth are above the gator jaw. Sell if the price is below the gator teeth and gator lips are below the gator teeth and gator teeth are below the gator jaw. If that sounded like a tongue twister, what it basically means is as long as all these lines are in agreement, then you can have a sell signal or a buy signal. So when they're all squiggly like this, probably won't get them. Markets consolidating, ranging, same with here. But when they're all lined up nicely like this, you get a sell signal. If they're all lined up downwards, or if they're all lined up upwards, you get a buy signal. Okay. So that's the alligator. And you've got the AC trend, AC 0 line, AO trend, and AO 0 line. So if we just go to accelerator oscillator and the awesome oscillator. So basically these are similar to the MACD. Let me just double check the trend and the 0 line. Okay, awesome oscillator and accelerator. Okay, cool. So for these, basically, 2 seconds, I'm just double checking. Let me just double check the settings here. The trend and zero line. Okay, so basically for a trend, they have to be heading downwards. Okay, and for the zero line, for a downwards trend, they need to be heading downwards. For an upwards trend, the bars need to be heading upwards. And the zero line, they need to be above the zero line for a buy or below the zero line for a sell. Okay, as you'd expect, logically thinking. Right, so that's all of the indicators covered. As I said, you can set them all to true or false. Perhaps you want to, I don't know, have a, let's just say, let's go for, you want to move an average. You want a 50 period moving average, and you want an alert when there's a Bollinger Band breakout. So you get a sell signal when price is below the 50 moving average and the Bollinger Band breaks out below the lower band. Okay, don't like that one? Well, then you can have an alert when the ADX crosses downwards. And I say downwards because we're using the moving average filter, so it has to be, the price will have to be below the moving average, and the ADX will have to be trending downwards, and you get a sell signal. Okay, let's just say you want to use a 50 moving average and you want an alert when the stochastic is extreme, so you can set that to true, and then you get an alert when the stochastic is extreme below the moving average. Okay, there's many ways it can be configured. Candlestick patterns, if you have no pattern set to true, the EA will trade just based on the indicators. Okay, if you have it set to false, then you'll need to choose a candlestick pattern. You can see I've got the engulfing bar, harami bar, the hangman, or inverted hammer, shooting star and a hammer, spinning top, 3 inside up down, or 3 inside down, sorry. Evening star, morning star, falling 3 or rising 3. You've got 3 black crows or 3 white soldiers, and you've got the 3 outside up. You can set these to true if you want to use candlestick patterns. Otherwise, make sure no pattern set to true so the EA can trade based on the indicator values that you have selected. Okay, you can also optimize the EA if you want in the MT4 strategy tester. So I can show you how to do that now. Basically, what optimization does is it will just combine loads of different combinations of settings and show you the results. So first thing we want to do is we want to set use trading to true. Okay. We'll leave it running every day and all day. So all day, every day. We won't use the close up time or the close on a Friday settings. For the lot size, perhaps we'll use 1 standard lot. Okay. So we don't need to use risk set to true. Stop loss, we'll optimize the stop loss of either 25 pips or 50 pips. So basically how optimization works is you tick the box of the setting you want to optimize, the value you like to start at, the steps you'll take, and the value you like to stop at. So if we put start 25, step 25, stop 50, it will test the stop loss on 25 pips and 50 pips. Okay. For the take profit, we'll test, say, starting at 100 pips. We'll step in 100 pips and we'll stop at 500. Okay, so that'll do 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Hedging allowed, we'll just leave that on true. We won't deactivate the EA based on the equity check. We'll optimize break even and trailing stop. Break even, we'll say we'll optimize from 25 and 25 steps up to 100, and the trailing gap the same, 25 and 25 steps up to 100. For the close percent, do we want to, should we optimize that? Yeah, go on then. Let's optimize that. 25%, 25 up to 75%. And the minimum lot to close, we'll do, you can close 0.25, 0.25 up to 1.25. Okay, now the indicators, right? What I'm going to do for this optimization is I'm not going to play around with the periods and the other settings like that on the indicators. I'm just going to check true or false. So if I check true or false on all of them, it just basically means the optimization will test the difference between having each indicator set on true or false. Okay, let's run through those. So it's basically going to test every possible combination. Might actually be too many here. Sometimes a strategy tester will not actually run a test if you've put too many options there, which I think we may have done, but we shall find out. Okay, so they're all of the settings we're going to optimize. We're going to have genetic algorithm checked. What this basically means is the strategy tester will do tests based on what it believes will produce the best results. If you leave this unchecked, it will do every single possible combination, which can take an age, okay, depending on how many settings you choose and the power of your computer. But let's just see if it will actually run on this for the previous month. It will. Okay, so go through all the various combinations and it will produce these results here. Okay, basically this is just to show you what all of the various combinations produced. So having the stop loss is 50, the take profit is 100, not using the break even, okay, but using a trailing stop, so on and so forth, okay, and what indicators are on or off. So if you just basically double click one of them, go to expert properties, then it will load those particular settings in, okay, for what options were true, what options were false, or any of the other settings that you optimized. Okay, just choose another one randomly. Look at the graph, not bad. And you can see, you know, the profit factor of the different combinations, the drawdown, profit, etc. Why don't we do the same optimization, but this time we'll go back to the start of the year. This may take slightly longer. Okay, it will do. While that's running, I just mentioned regarding the EA, if you do want to use it for trading, please ensure that you do it on a demo account only, okay? Otherwise, I think it's best used semi-automated, so that's just basically you get signals based on indicators you like to help you monitor multiple charts and to give you signals when you're away from your computer. Okay, so we've run that optimization for the past year. Okay, various different results here. What I think we'll need to do is just cut down the amount of combinations, probably too many. I think we're going to put the stop loss really high, and I'm going to do this now because I'm going to use a break even and trailing stop, okay? But I'm going to still optimize the break even and trailing stop. We're not going to close any of the position, so we can leave those as they are. Okay, hedging is allowed. Stop loss. We want to be, I'm going to go for 30 for stop loss. Okay, and then we'll run another optimization. Should be slightly quicker then because we chose less settings to optimize. And then whilst it's running, you can just see as the results come through. There is an option, if you right click, you can do skip useless results. Basically means that the strategy tester won't here display results that don't, settings that don't produce good results. Okay, so that's complete. Didn't do every combination, as I say, because the genetic algorithm, but then we can double click the top one. Not great. This is just completely random settings. I mean, it's no surprise they're not fantastic. I mean, it's just basically throwing, you know what, at a wall and seeing what sticks. just as we can go even further into an optimization and change, the periods of the different indicators and the values, the deviations, etc., until we find something that is favorable. If I just reset all those settings and go back to this, I use true. I will use fixed lots. I think maybe we won't use the trailing stop this time, although I would like to usually, well, for sure, when trading manually, 100%. Simply because I like to put my stop loss on the highs if I'm selling or the lows if I'm buying. Something that EAs can't do when they're using rigid fixed levels. Then we're going to go, okay, so we want to have a moving average. Let's just optimize it. We'll optimize it up to 35, why not? And then we want, shall we use the ADX? We can have the option of the ADX. Yeah, let's go for the ADX trend. And we'll optimize the periods again, 7:35. Okay, let's run that. Okay, some decent, not fantastic, but you can see we got some results there. Drawdown's way too high. Probably can experiment more with the break even and trailing stop, so we'll just ping them back in. Trailing gap. Do we want to close any of it? No, we don't. Stop loss 50. As we got the trailing stop and that on now, we can probably leave the take profit. In fact, we won't use any take profit because we got our trailing settings. Maybe we need to be a bit more creative here. So I think we'll leave the moving average as always true, but we'll make the ADX trend optional. What else should we do? Should we do the CCI extreme? Yeah, let's just optimize that. Stochastic trend, yeah, let's go for that. We'll optimize that. And we'll do the periods. 5 and go to 15. And we'll go for a MACD 0 line and trend, why not? But we'll leave the settings as they are. Let's just run an optimization on that. See if we get anything interesting. And there is a purpose to this task, which I'm gonna show you in a minute. There's a reason I'm doing this. Okay, so what do we find? Okay, a decent set file. Not the best in the world, but not the worst. Decent amount of profit, okay? Now, what I did there is what's called over-optimization or curve fitting, okay? It looks like we've got a good set file. However, this was because we were basically working based on the data set that we had, which is the past year of historical data. So we just ran all the numbers and all the different combinations until we found something that produced good results, okay? And that, in my opinion, is just pure coincidence, okay? So it's known as curve fitting or optimization. I do have articles on them on my website. And it's something that some developers will do. They'll just run combinations like we did just now over certain data sets until they find a good results like this, package it up and sell it as the best thing since sliced bread. However, these results will not be reflected moving forward. And if you test them on other trading instruments and probably longer historical data periods, then you just see the results won't be great. Like if we take those and just go back another 2 years, let's see what happens. See, a lot different. And I bet you can guess exactly where the start of the previous year was, and it's probably where the graph started to move upwards. It is, okay? And that is because we optimized or over-optimized, curve fitted the settings to this time period, just as we could now run an optimization over all of this time and try and find some good settings based on the combinations that we've selected. Okay, so this is what you have to be careful when you're using Expert Advisors, is trying to just to find good settings that you think will work, but they don't, because they're only for the specific data that you're using. For me, in my opinion, if you find an expert advisor that uses the same settings on multiple currency pairs or other trading instruments, uses the same settings, that for me shows a solid strategy that has logic behind it, especially if those expert advisors are using the same settings across multiple currency pairs and have been optimized and have been tested over many years of historical data and produce good results. Still, we can never predict the future, but I think that's a lot better than just an expert advisor which has been over optimized for a specific currency pair, time frame and time period. So we've done the optimization now for the last 3 years, 2-3 years, and we've got these settings which look good. I mean, loads of people would take that as their trading results for the last 2 or 3 years. However, let's go back another 2 years and run that test. It's actually not too bad. However, you can see that it was here when we started the optimization when things really picked up, and that's because we optimized to that data set. Okay, let's take it back another 2 years. Take it back another 2 years and run it. What happens? Again, you can see here it's not been optimized for this or this period. Okay, yeah, it still did reasonably well overall. However, that's mainly due to the over optimization we did during that period. Okay, basically the point I'm trying to make, hopefully you understand, is that don't expect miracles. Okay, I don't think, in my humble opinion, anything can be, let me just get rid of this, nothing can be good market analysis like we did in the beginning of the video. We marked our lower highs. Okay, we marked our support level. This is a triple top formation here as well, because the resistance is tested at least 3 times. Okay, we can see this was a line of support here. Probably traders getting caught in a bull trap trying to buy into this upwards move here, but they're too late. Traders are exiting their position and we have this breakout to the downside. Okay, can draw a support level. No coincidence, there's a big breakout down here. You've got M pattern. Okay, that support actually becomes resistance here. You've got bearish candlestick patterns here. You've got 3 inside down, which is a bullish candle, followed by a bearish candle that's at least 50% the body of the bullish candle, and another bearish candle that breaks below the bullish candle. 3 inside down pattern there. In fact, there's a 3 inside down pattern there as well. You've got a master candle here, which is a candle with at least 5 other candles within its body. You had lots of signs there that we were going into a downtrend. You obviously got your lower highs as well. That's a wedge pattern there that we've just drawn. We don't need no unicorn indicators to tell us that. That's just price action analysis. All you really need to know is how to draw support and resistance, okay, trend lines, and understand some candlestick patterns. There's a reason they've been around forever in trading. And then when you get in one good trade like this, you can make over 400 pips of profit potential. Okay, granted, we probably would have got out when we seen this. Well, I would have looked to exit probably here when the market started making these higher lows. However, what we could have done, had we taken this initial entry, I would have placed my stop loss above the high. So what's that? 15 pips, very reasonable, very low actually for the 1 hour chart time frame. And then as the price dropped, I just would have moved my stop loss from that high to that high, then to that high, then to that high, then to that high, that high, that high, that high, and just basically on the highs all the way down until price, probably the stop loss would have ended up around here somewhere. And then when price turned around, we would have been taken out on our trailing stop loss there, or we may have exited once we've seen this, the market making lower highs in the consolidation around here. And we wouldn't have needed no indicators to catch that. You could, of course, have closed part of the position on the way down as well, just to bank some pips if you don't want to leave everything open. Certainly what I wouldn't have done is just took that sell trade, had my stop loss randomly up here somewhere and just left it. Okay, don't want a winning trade to turn into a losing one. I want to cut my losing trade short and let winning trades run. I mean, even if we had the stop loss here above this high and the price bounced back up here and took us out again, 15 pips, took us out for another 15 pips, took us out for another 20 pips, say we were down 50 pips, and then we eventually caught the trend for 400 pips. I mean, we'd still be up 350 pips in around a month, minus broker fees, spreads, commissions, etc. So yeah, how can the EA help with that? Well, as I was showing you in the many examples, you can do indicators just to give you alerts on the way down. Like if you didn't get in the trend on this breakout here, you might have a stochastic crossover alert, a MACD trend alert, ADX trend alert, you know, CCI extreme, RSI extreme. You can just set alerts just to, you know, you're going to trade short because we're in a downtrend. You're going to get your alerts is when it's time to perhaps look for a trade, or you can just manually check your charts every hour or so. As I said, we're trading on the 1 hour chart here. There's no need, in my opinion, to fight on the 1 minute or 5 minute chart and try and scalp a few pips here and there. Pull your hair out if you've got any left and just stress yourself out when you can capture big moves like this one for hundreds of pips on the higher chart time frames. Okay, on the way down, you know, you could have traded the breakouts. That's a NFP, non-farms payroll, first Friday of the month candle there, hence the big move. Nonetheless, we could have used the momentum. We see the market with the lower highs. M chart pattern formation there, breakout to the downside, perfect entry. Okay. And you'll find these all the way down on trends, on established trends, okay. Lots and lots of opportunities on the way down, and you don't want to end up selling too low. Okay, you don't want to be too late to the party and get caught in a bear trap, but there's ample opportunity to enter there. Just as with this uptrend, you know, we can do the same principles. We see that price is making higher lows. It's bounced away from this support level. You know, this is not an ideal scenario. This is quite a big pullback. Nonetheless, this level of resistance was tested, broken, then became support. Price continued upwards. Nice breakout here to the upside. Had another pullback. Again, not ideal, but still resistance, breakout. Resistance becomes support. Price continues upwards. And then once that trend is really rocking and rolling, you had opportunities. Breakout there. Big breakout candle, no coincidence. Pullback, breakout, no coincidence. Even as high up as this, though you don't want to avoid. I'm trying to avoid buying too high, but still gas left in the tank, and even as far up as here, look at that. Okay, until the market starts to make these lower highs, you can be like, okay, now it's time to exit. Consolidation, lower highs. If you were in a position around here, you'd probably want to take some profits. And again, you could have used a trailing stop on the way up just below the lows. Maximize the move as much as possible. And how does my EA help with that? Well, it's not a miracle worker, but it can send you alerts for when to look for possible pullbacks. Or if you're in a position, if you took one of these early breakout trades and you're in this trend, you might want an alert when the RSI is over extreme, perhaps to consider closing part of the position and moving your stop loss. Okay. I think that's everything covered. I mean, go careful with over optimization. As I said, you can use this EA on any trading instrument, Forex, cryptos, commodities, stocks, indices, bonds, whatever you like to trade, and any time frame. It is for the MT4 MetaTrader 4 platform. Okay. Let me know if you got any questions. Please like and subscribe. That'd be a great help for my channel. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.